Hello and welcome to this edition of Joy News Today with me, Bernice Abubeidulansa. Coming up, 215 suspects arrested in connection with a billion van robbery in a swoop at several locations in Accra. We'll hear from the police. 13 others picked up at Wale Wale and Wulugu ahead of President Akufo-Addo's working visits to the Northeast region. We'll get more on this particular exercise.
Raided by.
And the National Democratic Congress demands immediate withdrawal of CJ's petition to the General Legal Council against Dr. Dominic Ayine over some comments made at a CDD event last month.
We are keenly following events and shall resist any judicial tyranny with all our might.
We've got more on that, plus business, sports and showbiz in this package. Thank you for joining us. You're welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. The details now. The Accra Regional Police Command says it has arrested 215 suspected criminals in a recent targeted operation. The operation follows a billion van attack which led to the killing of a policeman, and a woman on Monday, June 14 at Jamestown, a pig farm robbery and killing of 43-year-old man, and the Honeysuckle Forest Bureau attack and shooting. Let's hear from the Accra Regional Police PRO, Ifya Tenge.
The Regional Police Command, Accra, has embarked on what we call an enhanced operational exercise within some locations in Accra. And after the 3-day comprehensive exercise, we have been able to arrest 215 suspected criminals in locations such as Kolebu, Tesano, Amasaman, Nima, Dansoman, Abokobi, Accra Central, Teshi, Madina, Bachona, Jamestown, Osu, and also Lakeside. And among the 215 suspected criminals, 17 of them were women, and the age range were between 17 and 52 years. Though this particular exercise forms part of series of exercises by the command since the beginning of this year, this particular operation was part of efforts to fight violent crimes, especially street robberies and drug peddling in Accra. And most of the items or exhibits that were retrieved include wrapped narcotic substances, sharp implements like machetes, screwdrivers, and any other offensive weapon that can be employed in the use in facilitating criminal activities. And also the police also intercepted some mixtures of concoction which were laced with narcotics substances, and also we also retrieved some tramadol. The operation also targeted and impounded 168 motorbikes, which is believed to be used in facilitating the street robberies we see these days on the streets of Accra. The arrested persons have been detained and undergoing various levels of screening for possible connection to recorded crimes under investigation. The Regional Police Command would at this point remain resilient and assures members of the public of their continued support in providing credible information that will also help the police in crime fighting activities and also stemming the ties.
Now, 13 other persons have been rounded up in a swoop at several targeted locations in Wale Wale and Wulugu. They include a notorious drug peddler, Yakubu Saibu, who was arrested at his house in Moshifong in Wale Wale with bags of substance suspected to be marijuana. The operation comes ahead of the arrival of President Akufo-Addo and his vice, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to the region tomorrow. The Municipal Police Commander, DSP Cosmos Awe, confirmed that the suspects are currently in custody are being processed for court. There's more in the following report.
The operation was conducted by personnel of the counter-terrorism unit and the military in more than 5 notable criminal hideouts and hotspots targeted and raided by the armed men. In Wulugu, the operation was conducted on the Wale-Wale-Bolga stretch of the N10 highway, also known as the Tamale-Bolga highway, where until now, robbers had been targeting tomato sellers traveling to Burkina Faso and other neighboring countries. In Wale-Wale, the operation was carried out around the cemetery area and in the Mosifone neighborhood, a notorious criminal den in the town. The police commander DSP Cosmos Awe, who led the operation, gave further details in an interview with Joy News.
It is part of our planned activities for us to conduct these operations at targeted areas. We have some flash points where the hubs of criminals who we believe are part of the people who are committing the crimes within the municipality. And we started this thing previously along the Wulugu stretch where we visited some communities. So yesterday was the time for this Mosifon area, which is the cemetery, and it is a hub of youths who used to patronize that place to smoke and cause a lot of troubles. So we launched the operation there yesterday. And between the hours of 1500 to 1700 hours, yes, we hit the grounds and were able to gather few of them, some few people, about 12 people, including one guy who was escaping from the team. But we managed to chase and caught up with him. And from our investigations, he was the main supplier of this India herb. So he led us to his house, and then into his room we conducted a search, and we were able to retrieve 2 sacks, that's mini sacks, fertilizer sacks of dried leaves suspected to be Indian herb, which he confirmed, yes, that is his business he has been dealing with. So he was brought to the police station, cautioned and charged, cautioned and put before the court this morning. So he is currently before court. At least we can get some remand for him, then we'll continue from there.
The security personnel also marched through the principal street of Wale-Wale in an exercise dubbed Operation Show of Force ahead of the coming of President Nana Addo and his vice Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia to the region. DSP Cosmos Awe said the exercise was to indicate to the general public their readiness to fighting crime and maintaining law and order.
As part of our operational strategies.
So that was Ilyasu Tanko's report. He joins us for more on this. When is the president expected in the region tomorrow, Ilyasu?
It's expected tomorrow around 8 o'clock. He's supposed to be in the region tomorrow. First of all, he will be visiting the overlord of the Mamprogo traditional area. And from there, he will come back to Wale-Wale to visit a number of projects and also head to the Mamprogo Mwadure district in the region. So it is going to be 2 days. Tomorrow, he will be paying a visit to the Nairi, come back to Wale-Wale, and then the next day he proceeds to the Mamprogo Mwadure district.
Tell us what residents make of this police operation ahead of his visit.
Well, the Wale-Wale municipality has been noted for robbery.
Hello, Ilyasu. Well, too bad we lost Ilyasu there. Ilyasu Tanko is our Northeast correspondent who was just giving us details of the president's visit to the region tomorrow. Earlier, you saw that report he put together on a swoop conducted by the police in Wale-Wale ahead of the president's visit. Earlier on News Desk, I spoke to the commander for Wale-Wale, DSP Cosmos Awe, who had mentioned that this was not just a flash in the pan operation and that the police in the area is doing a lot to deal with crime. Well, while we try to raise Ilyasu on the line, let's head to the Upper East region where Albert Sore joins us from. The president is currently there. First off, Albert, tell us what residents expect from the visit of the president.
Yes, really. So the president has just arrived at the palace of the paramount chief of the Boko traditional area. He's just started to give his speech. But one of the things people are anticipating that the president will talk about is the issue of security. In fact, the Boko Naba, when he was given the opportunity to address the president, mentioned the issue of security, especially with the recent wireless message talking about possible Burkinabe bandits infiltrating the country. So the president is expected to respond to that as far as what the government is doing to ensure the security of the people. The president is on a visit to this region, and he has earlier visited the GBC radio station here in the Upper East region. He was granting an interview there. In fact, there too, he was asked about the issue of security. And he said that, yes, the government is taking it very seriously, and it is the reason that they are increasing the numbers of the security personnel across the country. So he has just started addressing the Boko Naba, and we are waiting to hear what more he will tell the people of the Upper East region.
Albert, we'll leave it here for you to pay attention to what the president is saying. That's my colleague Albert Sore joining us from the Upper East region. As you just heard him mention, President Akufo-Addo is there on a working visit. From there, he'll go to the Northeast region. But basically, it appears that the general concern in these two regions has to do with security. It's not only for these two regions. There's general concern about the state of insecurity in the country at large. But the Ghana Police Service has been disputing these claims of insecurity, according to Director of Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service, Superintendent Shirabe Kese-Bachman. The perceived insecurity situation is far from reality. She spoke on Newsfile.
The Regional Police Command, Accra,
Apologies for that, we'll bring you that later. But security analyst Professor Kwesi Enin and Emmanuel Bombande, who is also a security expert, have been responding to this rebuttal from the Ghana Police Service on Joy FM's Super Morning Show.
These types of sweeping exercises from time to time have gone on in the past. And to the extent that the police are zeroing in on where they think there are criminals in hiding, and to bring them out, the effort might help them to uncover some of the recent violent crimes, obviously could be in the right order. But I think the conversation also will point to the fact that if they are suspects, how you treat them in the policing that respects their human rights is as important as how you are trying to combat crime. If you simply swoop on people and on the basis of suspicion, that it falls below the standards of how you are engaging with suspects, but at the same time respecting their human rights, you could end up creating more problems. But having made this observation,
we'll move on away from security issues for now. The National Democratic Congress, NDC, is demanding the immediate withdrawal of a petition before the General Legal Counsel against Dr. Dominic Ayine. A letter written by the Judicial Secretary on behalf of the Chief Justice says Dr. Ayine had allegedly questioned the independence of the judiciary due to the manner the Supreme Court adjudicated the 2020 election petition. The letter, written on the 25th of May 2021, states that the Chief Justice found the comments made during a panel discussion on presidential election petitions and their impact on Africa's democracy disparaging and totally unacceptable. He asked for further investigations into the matter. Speaking at a press briefing earlier today, General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, stated that the actions against the party's Bolgatanga East MP is part of a grand scheme to intimidate people who hold different views to that of the Chief Justice.
We wish to reiterate the fact that the invitation of Dr. Ayene to appear before the General Legal Council is yet another attempt by the Chief Justice to intimidate and suppress views that are at variance with his own views. Even if the Chief Justice disagrees with Dr. Ayene's views or deems same as erroneous, the statement made were decorous expressions of opinion about a judgment delivered by the Supreme Court of Ghana and do not warrant professional discipline. Our progressive march as a constitutional democracy will suffer a grave setback if the disciplinary committee of the General Legal Council were to proceed to hold an inquiry into the matter of Dr. Ayene's statements at the CDD event. Our constitution and laws protect the integrity and independence of the judiciary and not the sensibilities of judges. I want to take that again. Our constitution and laws protect the integrity and independence of the judiciary and not the sensibilities of judges. Judicial vanity is a threat to justice and must not be countenanced in any democracy. We therefore join all well-meaning Ghanaians to demand that the Chief Justice withdraws his petition against Dr. Ayene forthwith. We further serve notice that as a political party, we are keenly following events and shall resist any judicial tyranny with all our might.
Now, moving on, there are heightened calls on government to fix a 100-meter stretch in Tamale, which has become a death trap, and this is after a near-fatal accident. The poor nature of the road has been blamed for several accidents, including one involving a pregnant woman. Eyewitnesses have been venting their frustration to Joy News.
Yes, I can't. I could see a man. I'm a children. And then I account to us about also powerful. Also, corner also there. Also, can't have a chew. Miss on Saka, Jamie and saying I have block.
Chairman filling station is behind of the where the cars is doing such problems. Every day, cars pouring here, doing pouring every day. So you should just consider and come and put gravel inside of this thing so that the cars can help and go. So that's the thing that we have. The regional chairman's filling station is behind the where the cars.
But somebody will say the regional chairman, that is not his work.
It's not his work, but you can help the government. But you all are part of the government. You can help. You can help. So that's the thing that I have to tell them. They should consider us. Because the car is foreign in front of their distance. And he is the regional chairman. He's supposed to consider because them all they are the government. So we are appealing them.
Cars are going to crash all the roads because of the bad nature of the road. Even though talking about in this particular route, disturbing we the riders and then the drivers a lot. Even though when you move ahead, there is a roundabout there. Even though it's an eyesore. I don't even know how the politicians should do well and help us, in fact, to make the district nice for us, so that we can also carry our daily activities and then our daily activities very well. In fact, it's affecting us, very, very affecting, very, very disappointed. The politicians are very shameful. They are even following this particular road. They haven't seen it. I don't know why. They don't do anything. I don't even know what. In fact, it's an eyesore, or not this particular route.
Our Northern Region correspondent Martina Bugri joins us live with more on this. Martina, tell us exactly where this stretch of road is located.
Industrial area road is one of the major roads because of the interchange being constructed. So vehicles that come from the south will need to take a turn at the Lamashegu roundabout and use that route to join the stadium roundabout, and then you can head to the Upper East and this Sahel countries. And so it forms a major road as we speak now because of the interchange. But this portion that I'm talking about is about 10 meters. It's not that long. It started just as a pothole but has developed into a very big gully. And so when vehicles get there, there is this jostling, and sometimes people get accidents. And now we are told that earlier this year, a lady got an accident, a pregnant woman actually got an accident at that spot and ended up dying at the hospital. This is just one of the several accidents that have occurred in that small portion of the road. And so it's become an issue that people continue to talk. And they are not too happy that politicians or those who are supposed to, city authorities and those in places that are supposed to tackle this issue, look on, waiting for a major disaster to happen before they come in. And so these are some of the concerns that they have been raising.
Martina, do we have a response from city authorities?
We've tried to get in touch with city authorities, but it's been difficult. That's when we have information, we would bring an update on it.
Sure. Thank you. Martina Bugri is our Northern Region correspondent. Now, head of the West Africa Center for Cell Biology of Infectious Pathogens, WACBIC, Professor Gordon Awandare, has revealed there are 45 strains of COVID-19 present in the country, including the Delta, which is currently ravaging India and dominating UK infections. Experts call the new variant the most contagious seen throughout the whole pandemic. It has caused huge spikes in India and a serious increase in cases in the UK, despite the fact that the population is highly vaccinated. Professor Awandare says this strain in particular is likely to cause a third wave of the disease in Ghana, as it's already present in 16 African countries. He was speaking on Prime Morning on Joy Prime TV.
Overall, we have about 45 or 46 different variants that are in circulation, but these 5 are the ones that are of concern. And like Michael mentioned, the trend shows that all these normally come from travelers. So if you look at the sequences in travelers and then the sequences in the local transmission, it mirrors the distribution of the variant. So if you have more travelers coming in with a particular variant, then it reflects in the local population. So now that the Delta is taking over, in fact, it's taking over the UK. Is now the most prevalent in the UK, and it's taking over most of East Africa. So it's just a matter of time before it'll come here in large quantities. So we have a few here, but it's going to increase. If we don't take the steps that Michael talked about, we have to go back to being serious about, the protocols, and also tightening the screening at the airport and the mandatory quarantine. These are very important to limit the influx of the new variants. And if we're able to do that, we may be able to avoid a third wave.
Now, Professor Awandare is also advising government against procuring the AstraZeneca Sputnik V vaccines as they are not as effective against the new strains.
Now we have to be looking at the right vaccines. We all this while we've been, fixed on, AstraZeneca and Sputnik V. We have to start shifting towards looking for, more of Pfizer and others, which have a better chance of protecting against these variants, because the future is these aggressive variants. That's where we are going. The UK strain would probably recede soon. It will be replaced by some of these new variants.
With the nature of the virus as we know it, there are new variants coming out every few months. So does that mean that we are going to have to vaccinate ourselves again when, there's another strain in the system that is different from what Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer can fight?
Yes, that's the reality, that this may be similar to the flu, that every year or every few years we have to adjust the vaccine to suit the prevailing strains. And so that's why local manufacturing and vaccine development is important. We need to start making serious.
Away from health, the Upper West Regional Security Council has banned night transportation of subsidized government fertilizer. The measure is among several others employed by the RECSEC to curb the smuggling of the produce to neighboring countries. 13,500 bags of subsidized government fertilizer valued at 1,620,000 cedis were illegally smuggled to Burkina Faso on June 8. Chairman of the Upper West Regional Security Council, Dr. Hafiz bin Sali, has directed all vehicles carrying fertilizers to report at the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council for routine checks. Joining us, Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Tumu.
One major challenge faced by the Planting for Food and Jobs program introduced by government is the smuggling of farm inputs by accredited input dealers into neighboring countries, especially Burkina Faso. In fact, the Upper West region hogged the headlines for the wrong reasons for the sea of subsidized government fertilizer that were smuggled into Burkina Faso by some accredited government input dealers, prompting a visit by the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Owusu Afriakoto, to the region to put a lid on it.
For me, I could cry. To be honest, I could cry that the government comes into power, brings such unprecedented opportunities for the poorest in society, and the little food that they put into their mouth, you take the food out of their mouth. How wicked can that be? And now Upper West region has this unfortunate title of the smuggling capital of Ghana.
Yeah. 3 years after the visit, it appears some of the accredited input dealers have not turned over a new leaf. The farming season has barely begun in the region, and a total of 13,500 bags of the commodity valued at 1,620,000 Ghana cedis have already been smuggled into Burkina Faso, according to Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Sali.
Intelligence got to us that smuggling was taking place, particularly in Sesala West. But we got alarmed when we got information that on the 8th of June this year, about 45 Rhino trucks carted fertilizer, each carrying about 300 bags of fertilizer into Burkina Faso. And this is worrying.
Dr. Bin Sali, who doubles as the chairman of the Upper West Regional Security Council, addressing input dealers and major stakeholders in the agriculture sector at Tumu, announced measures taken by the Upper West Regional Security Council to curb smuggling of the government subsidized fertilizer.
All farm inputs coming into the region must first of all report at my office in Wa, for us to know the vehicle coming, the quantity of fertilizer it is carrying, and the destination of the vehicle. Once they get to either Sesala East or Sesala West, we expect the consignment to be offloaded into a warehouse. We will not allow any long vehicle to be distributing fertilizer. That will not happen again.
There are also timelines to track the movement of vehicles carrying fertilizer.
The movement of vehicles carrying fertilizer is 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Anytime after this, we'll confiscate the fertilizer and auction the vehicle.
Dr. Bin Sali urged all those doing genuine business to continue, but to help face out the miscreants among them.
Those of you doing genuine business, you have nothing to fear. But those of you who engage in nefarious activities, criminal activities, please know that we will come after you.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Tumu.
And here in Kokomlemle, I am Bernice Abubedu Lansa with today's edition of Joy News Today. Coming ahead shortly in business, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center has so far raked in about $780 million as foreign direct inflows this year. Darryl Cowell has details shortly. Do stay.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to business. My name is Darryl Cowell. The Ghana Investment Promotion Center has so far this year raked in about $780 million as foreign direct inflows. Now, this is from a target of $3 billion. According to the Ghana Cares Obatampa program, the GIPC is expected to mobilize 70 billion cedis within the next 4 years. Chief Executive Yofi Grant disclosed this when he addressed the press.
We want actual partnerships with Ghanaians. And though all these investments will create jobs, etc., we also want Ghanaians to rise to the occasion and invest. And I'm happy to say that more recently, we've seen quite a number of Ghanaian investors actually coming to register at GIPC. And we believe that the future looks very good. Our target for this year is $3 billion in accordance with the plan under the Ghana Cares Obatampa project, which means that we have to raise 70 billion cedis by the end of the 4-year term of the project. And this year so far, we have raised approximately $780 million. And we are still looking for it to go out there and make sure that we bring the investors we want here. But we are targeting them along the economies that we expect to push our economy forward. And when I say economies, the industries. So, for example, agriculture and agro-processing is one. Industrialization is another, as we add value to our raw materials and resources. Then we are looking at technology because we are moving our economy to a technology-based economy where the main route of engagement between the citizenry and government will be technology. And so these are some of the areas that we believe that we do have a critical and competitive advantage. Also, hospitality. We know how the year of the return and thereafter has actually elevated Ghana's stance as a, in quotes, a mecca for the African American and the African in the diaspora. And so we're going to leverage on that to also look out for investors in the hospitality business who will come in and invest and create more opportunities.
Now, in other news, the Ghana Hotels Association is urging more transparency as applications open for the second tranche of stimulus packages for businesses affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The association says they are yet to receive official data on how many of their members benefited from the first support scheme. Dr. Edward Akanyameke Jr. is president of the association.
Talking about, say, a 10-room budget hotel, receiving 3,000 stimulus package for hotel operations. Now, for a 10-bedroom budget hotel, you are talking of a staff size of about, say, 8. The interesting thing is that for, you see, the operational cost of hotels is very high. For each room, it amounts to 1 staff. Okay, averagely, each room amounts to 1 staff. Okay, so looking at that, 3,000 was nowhere near supporting staff salaries. And that the amount was the one-time payment as stimulus package for the hotel. Some 2-3 stars received 20,000, 10,000. Now, the bigger the hotel, the bigger the expenses. So 20,000 for even a 3-star hotel is a non-starter. So we were put in the wrong place to begin with. And unfortunately, with this one too, we've been sent to the same place, Ghana Enterprises Agency. That's why we are not happy about the arrangements. But we want to believe that they may do something different this time.
Okay. What's the criteria for selecting what hotel is in the position to receive a package?
For this particular one, we've not received any information. Let me be honest and frank with you. We are yet to receive the criteria for it. What we know is what happened with the first one. It was online application. You provided all information about your hotel, and then they do their own assessment and decide on how much to give to you.
All right, and there's more coming up on the marketplace on that story. Plus, This one on myjoyonline.com/business. Member states of ECOWAS fix 2027 for eco-currency implementation. We'll discuss that story. That's on the marketplace at the top of the hour. Up next, sports.
Good afternoon, welcome to Sports on Joy News. Today, I am Muftau Nabila Abdullah. Let's do some FA Cup news because Accra House of Oak yesterday got the better of Windy Professionals, beating them by 4-1 to qualify to the one of 16th stage of the competition. Head coach of the team, Samuel Broadway, believes that this is the year House of Oak could be ending their wait to rule the rest of the country as the winners of the Ghana Football Association football. JoyOnline.com and read some more sports stories. Coming in earlier this morning indicates that Willie Glamore has just contracted COVID-19 and will not be available for the Scottish, and the French national team will also not be having the services of Ousmane Dembele because he's been ruled out of the rest of the tournament after suffering an injury. And Camp Park, that is the venue for Kaola United, has been banned indefinitely by the Ghana Football Association because supporters of the club allegedly attacked the club, Mediama SC, their players, their bus, everything, and got most of their players injured. So the GFA Executive Committee said that this venue has been banned indefinitely. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullah. Joy News Today continues.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News Today. Now, gospel musician Sissy Chum has stated that many churches in Ghana are hesitant to help up-and-coming gospel artists. She explained that many of these musicians have stopped attending and supporting the churches that projected them to fame.
We go to church to serve God. You must know God for yourself. The church doesn't owe you anything. If the church decides to help you, that's fine. But never assume or say the church owes me this. It's God that blesses. That's all that I can say.
So are you saying this because you are equally someone who owns a church?
No.
If you were just a musician, would you say the same thing?
Yeah. You see, you were saying about Nigerians. Check the number of people that Pastor Chris has brought them out and check if they are still in their church or they are out. Just check and come to Ghana and check the churches that has helped musicians that they are no more with the church. Check. My husband brought a singer from Kumasi. We rented a house for him. Got married. We took care of him. Now the guy is no more with the church. And do you think he will do that again?
No.
Is he doing secular or is he still doing gospel?
He's still doing gospel, but he's no more with the church. But he was on every poster of my husband. We were trying to even some. My husband traveled to Nigeria for the first time. He went with this guy. We were doing everything possible to also get him up there. But he was now saying the church should pay him this amount more than we were paying him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so he left.
So you think ungratefulness?
This kind of things doesn't make some of the churches wants to help the up and coming.
Now, as part of Father's Day celebrations this year, reggae and dancehall artist Stonebwoy was adjudged most outstanding father of the year at the maiden edition of Ghana Father's Day Awards. The musician revealed in his acceptance speech how much effort he had to put in as a father of two.
Greetings to all the dignitaries and my seniors and superiors and honorable people and gathered here this evening. Like you rightly said, I go by the name Stonebwoy. Stone from my maiden name is Stone. It's actually not been easy. I was not really looking forward to this, but I'm grateful for the fact that honorable people like yourself have pointed it out to use me as an example to empower the creative, especially the musicians who are quote unquote said to be non-entities in society, because as beautiful as it looks out there, I know that deep down the heart of most of the corporates and those who run the countries, we mean nothing to them as musicians. We only are people who are going to entertain people for just a limit of time and do all the controversial stuff that we run on social media and all. But I've set myself aside to make sure that irrespective of the thoughts and the intuitions that the world may have about us, coming from the part of the world that we do, it is not that way. So, God willing and hearing my prayers, I got married to a medical doctor and changed the status quo as a ghetto youth from Ashaiman, who is willing to change, you know. So, by virtue of that, I became a father with two beautiful kids, CJ and Jaja. I love you guys. And I want to tell the whole of the world with this honor darling that by the prayers of our fathers, I will continue to be a father that fathers will emulate me.
On that note, we end showbiz here on Joy News today. My name is Becky. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com for more entertainment news. You see Sisi Chum's story right there. Yes. Over to you, Benis.
Well, thank you so much, Becky. That's how we end this edition. We really appreciate your company. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. You can get news from business, you can get news from sports. Well, we have that there. NDC demands CJ withdraws petition against Ayene at General Legal Counsel. We brought you that story earlier. Do stay with us here on the Joy News channel. We are your most credible news source. Up next is the market, please.